What's up, guys? This is Sam, and today we're going to review a trade that I did recently on AMD in the Simpler Central room. So this is a chart of AMD daily, and I had been watching this chart because it looked like it had a reversal pattern trying to set up. You were trying to make a kind of a double bottom, higher low across this daily 200, which is the red line. And so you had a little bit of a base here, and then you come down and you start making a little bit more of a base here. And what I was looking for is for this squeeze to try to engage and actually try to break out of this, this trading range that we had. And so I started looking at it right about here once it got a couple of daily closes above the daily 21. And you can see that the daily 21, the green line, was actually above the blue, which was above the red, which is what we want to see. So then from there I start looking for any type of signals from my indicator to indicate that AMD might be ready to push higher out of this squeeze as well as this consolidation base. So we got into the trade at 167, which is right about here on that day, because we had the structure underneath us. Right? We have the moving averages, green, blue, and red lined up, and then we started getting some arrows, which we haven't seen since we had down arrows way back here. Right? So you can see the alignment is right here. You're in the middle of a down cycle, and then right here something changed that has not been the case for the entirety of this trading range. So we got in right about here at 167, and I did it with a initially with a debit spread. So I did the 170 190 debit spread. I bought the 170 call, I sold the 190 call against it. The very next day AMD gaps up and is off off to the races. And because I was still a little bit unsure about the overall market, we were out of the money with this trade to start with, but on that day where the arrow is, it actually went in the money, which was the point of doing it out of the money in the first place, so you can get a larger gain. On that day where the arrow is also, I turned that trade into a butterfly. So instead of being just a 170, 190 debit spread, I actually sold another 190 against it, and then I bought the 210 call to turn it into a butterfly. What does that do? Well, because I was unsure, what that does is it locks in a little bit of the profit that we made on that day. It brings down our deltas, our directional exposure, and it makes our trade theta positive. So the next day it just continued to gap up and go, and it continued to go, and it was right about here that I actually started getting sell signals, not on AMD but on the Mag 7, the Magnificent 7 stocks. And I thought to myself, okay, this trade that we're in, the butterfly, the debit spread turned butterfly, this trade is now up 110%. I have sell signals in tech, not exclusive to AMD certainly, but I had sell signals in tech. And we decided to go ahead and close the trade on this day here. And we closed it for about 110% profit. And what do you know, the sell signals in tech actually ended up playing out in AMD, and you got a big flush. But I think this is a cool trade because it shows, one, the anatomy of the indicator and how it changes, right? And how I think it's rather obvious that if you look at it, there was nothing to do, at least all through this mess. It shows a cool strategy in terms of turning a debit spread into a butterfly, which certainly makes things easier to hold. And it also shows how to understand risk outside of the stock that you're trading, because I didn't have sell signals on AMD until I got a sell signal on AMD. But I did have sell signals on tech, which allowed me to take 110% profit on the trade and avoid this big drop that happened afterwards. So that's the AMD trade that we did in Simpler Central. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.
Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.